Good afternoon, everyone. So if you do not find seats around, come grab seats in front. So for those who don't know, my name is Mary Waldron. I'm the executive director here at Old Colony Planning Council. Nice to see a lot of faces and a couple of new faces. And we'll be going around for introduction. Many moons ago, I was the chair of the CEDS committee for about 15 years, and they wouldn't let me go. And so now coming back and being the executive director, and under the leadership of Nick and Don Sullivan, the economic development aspects of our organization is thriving. And I'm really, really excited to have all of you at the presentations today. But more importantly, Nick and I used to work with each other when lots of years and under former Mayor Bill Carpenter. But again, working with Don Sullivan, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our region. So while we're located here in the city of Champions, and I'm a resident of the city of Champions, this is 17 communities that we are looking and having a vision on a regional basis. So I know Massasoit is in a number of places within the region, along with Bridgewater State. Also, many of you with the chair and vice chair. That is my quick introduction. I would just like to acknowledge officials. I have Ward 5 City Councilor Jeff Thompson. Thank you, Councilor. This is his ward. And then we have John Messia from the Mayor's Office and Alicia, sorry, we'll get that underway. But thank you for being here and being part of the discussion. So without further ado, I'm going to have Nick Giaquinto begin. He's nervous because this is his first meeting, so we're all gonna like do rabbit ears behind him. And I think I just want to leave with, this is supposed to be fun and not us talking at you. It's supposed to be you, private business, along with the different organizations. So Nick, I'll be quiet and have you take it from there.
All right. Thank you, Mary. All right, calling the meeting to order. Today is February 7th, 2024. It is 12:02 p.m. And welcome to the first CEDS committee meeting of the year. And thank you for all turning out in person today. And for those joining us remote as well, thank you. We sort of have a lot to cover in 1 hour, so apologies in advance if we're moving along too quickly, but we'll always try to have a hard stop at 1 p.m. so it's not to conflict or screw things up on your busy schedules. I know everyone's got a lot going on. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to sign in. I want to make sure that we have good contact info to be able to reach you, all of you directly. So we have a lot of great stuff going on. Just a quick intro real quick. A lot of great projects are in the works, and we've really put in some significant effort to sort of revamp our membership with a diverse group of stakeholders that is much more representative of the OCPC region in 2024. So with that, you'll be seeing some new faces this year, and we'll hope you take some time to get to know each other and make new connections, if for nothing else. So I think, we'll encourage you to come here in person. We'll have lunch. There's only 4 meetings a year, and we'll have lunch at 12 o'clock each time we have one of these meetings. So it'd be great if we could continue these in person. So for the members, I think CEDS is really about regional collaboration, right? So making connections that lead to regional progress or projects and that help us guide our vision for a 5-year blueprint or a 5-year strategy. So we're excited to get things started with this new group, and hopefully for many of you, this is just a good opportunity for you to build relationships and another way for all of us to sort of keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in our region, and especially when it comes to economic development. So anyway, we should just move right into our second item because we do have a stacked agenda, and we're pressed for time, and we actually can't operate until we have a chairman and a vice chairman. So to that end, we're grateful to have 2 great folks who volunteered their time for those positions. Mr. Bob Ruley from the town of Bridgewater and Jason Hunter from Mass Hire Greater Brockton Workforce Board. So before we jump into that, let's just move on to item 2 on the agenda. Now, not everyone knows each other here, I don't think. So very, very quickly, if we could just if we could just go around the room, let's have the members just go around and each sort of introduce ourselves. But to speed things along, just tell us your name, title, and where the organization you're from, and we'll start with Mr. Rulli and then Jason and that way.
Thanks, Nick. I'm Bob Rulli. I'm the Director of Community and Economic Development for the town of Bridgewater. Huge proponent of regionalism, previously worked in Rhode Island, where you can't say anything about regionalism. So it's refreshing.
Jason Hunter, Executive Director of Mass Workforce Board. We are directly behind over here on 34th Street. Don Sullivan, Economic Development Director, OCPZ.
Sue Murray, Executive Director for Southeastern Economic Development.
I'm John Murray. I'm the Director of the Mass Highway Greater Brockton Career Center. I'm John Lucia, Director in Mayor Sullivan's office, City Hall of Brockton.
Hi, Stephanie Egan, Associate Director from Bridgewater State University. Hi, everybody, I'm Laura Buckley from the Mass Fire South Shore. Hello, everyone, Alicia Monchon, Associate Liaison in Mayor Sullivan's office.
Michael Lambert, the Administrator for Brockton Area Transit.
Dr. Jean.
Executive Director of the Boston Development Authority.
Senior Manager, Capgemini Consulting.
Thank you so much.
Mark Harris, I work for John Barton, from here with Massasoit. Bill Mitchell, VTC of Massasoit.
Associate in Administration of Finance at Massasoit.
Charles Silly, Town Administrator in East Bridgewater.
Senior Comprehensive Planner for
Jeff Chanel, Vice President, Commercial Lending at Northeastern Savings Bank.
State Rep Michelle Dubois, Brockton.
And Chris, we're going to have you come right over and hear one of the insight seats.
Oh, hi. Oh, good.
Sorry about my bad.
I think that's everyone, right? Okay, so let's move on and to accept our new chairman and vice chairman. This process calls for a vote of acceptance by the committee members, with just a simple voice vote of the majority. So we'll have separate votes for chairman and vice chairman, starting with Mr. Rulli. So with that, would someone like to entertain a motion for nominating Mr. Rulli? Motion. Is there a second? Motion's been made and properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there a motion for Mr. Hunter?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. Now that that's through, Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours, so feel free to proceed with the agenda.
Okay, thanks, Nick. We have some guests with us today. Bill Mitchell, who is the CFO of Massasoit Community College, and Mark Harris, who is an associate principal with Jones Architects. They're going to take us through a pretty exciting project that they have going on. Started in the low 30s, high 30s, low 40s, almost $50 million project now. So it's a pretty significant economic development initiative. So with that, the floor is yours, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us. We're really excited to be here. This project is a culmination of many years of work with several iterations. We have tremendous support from the legislature, and I'd like to thank our legislative delegation for their support. Also local, out of the mayor's office, our city councilor, Mr. Thompson, the chamber, just about everyone has been incredibly supportive. I think that's what's, even Cape Cod Cafe. But as I said, this has been on the drawing board for many years, taking many iterations. Our campus was built in 1972 on the old pig farm in Brockton. And the second phase of the campus was built in 78. Since then, there's been no major reconstruction since 1978 in the building. So you can imagine our facilities are getting a little bit tired. Mark will talk a little bit more about the program itself. I want to talk about the finances of how this works. So we're at about 49.1 million. I always round up to $50 million project. It'll probably end up being somewhere around there. And without the support of the state, through DCAM, and they gave us $38 million for this project, this wouldn't happen. Because it's not fair to put it on the backs of the students at our school. The state has really stepped up and supported this project. Massasoit's in very good financial condition with very little debt on our books, which some people would say is good. Other people would say, well, maybe not so good. So we have decided to, through special legislation that occurred a number of years ago, to borrow $5 million from the Mass State College Building Authority to help with this project. We are also taking some of our own cash. We had some CDs, we had cash about $3.1 million. So Massasoit is taking $4.1 million out of their own coffers to fund this project. And then there's a philanthropic piece. We really believe that people will come and help support this. And so our campaign is just started. It's kind of in the silent phase right now. We've already got some pledges, which is very exciting. And that'll encompass the entire 41 point. So our debt that we would take on would be about $400,000 a year. Our investment income is probably about $1.5 million a year, and it's undesignated at this point. So about 400,000 of that will become designated to service the debt. So it's not going to impact the operations of the college. And this is truly, we call this the transformation through renovation. That's not a tag. This is really going to transform this campus. It's going to renovate 30% of our academic buildings. And it's going to renovate our nursing and allied health programs, which there is such a need for our students. We just had 100% pass state rate for pass rate for our nursing students. And they are getting jobs and they are getting good jobs. We have a top quality nursing program. It's also going to upgrade our science facilities. We struggle because you go into a lot of the high schools in my town where I am, Plymouth North and Plymouth South. You walk into their labs and then they come to Massasoit and walk into our labs. There's a dramatic difference. And so we're going to bring that up to a state-of-the-art science facility. And again, we are truly excited. The biggest thing to happen to this campus since it was built, and the support has been incredible. No matter where we go, people are talking about this project. The economic impact it's going to have in this region, we're going to become a training facility as well. We're going to create stackable certificates to get people in, get them trained in a short period of time, get them out working. We're going to continue to train nurses. We're going to continue to train rad techs, respiratory techs. Our respiratory techs during the pandemic were being hired before they graduated to help out in the field because of the pandemic. And so we're truly excited to be here today to share some of this. And at this point, if there's any questions, certainly ask at any time about the finances. Pretty straightforward. Massasoit has skin in the game in this, and we're partnering with the state. But I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Mark Harris. Jones Architect has done a lot of work at Massasoit's campus, top-notch architect. They did the DUA building downtown, of which we have a small footprint in as well. And they are the architects on this $50 million project. So
thank you. And thank you all for having me. Sorry to say I'm a North Shore guy. I'm from Salem, but I have spent the last 7 or so years down here working on Massasoit's campus and on Main Street here at the DUA building. So very familiar, and Brockton has a soft spot in my heart. I actually worked at Bridgewater State back in the previous firm too, so I know this offshore well. I'm going to go through this really quickly. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop me, but there's a lot of information here. This is a year's worth of study that we've gone through. One of the first things we need to do, we need to come up with a really smart mission statement. And these spaces are all about flexibility, building towards the future, and once again, making it unique to Massasoit Community College. I've been lucky enough to work there 4 or 5 projects now. So I know these folks really well, and I think that's what makes a really good architectural project is knowing your constituents very well. So for those of you who don't know the college campus, it's composed of 8 buildings. There's a 9th to the left. I'm sorry, on to the right, the admin building. But what you see here, we are renovating the liberal arts building and the science building, the current liberal arts building, the current science building. which Bill mentioned makes up 30% of the overall
Thank you so much.
academic space on campus. The liberal arts building was built it was completed in 1978, part of the second wave of building on campus. It's a single story. I'll show you the image here in a second. The science building was built in 1974, the first wave on campus. What will happen first is the liberal arts will, everybody will move out of that building. That will be completely cut, renovated and abated. And the envelope sealed up to meet current energy code standards. And the new science building will be built in that existing liberal arts building. Then after that is complete, a year later, the existing science building will be cut, renovated, also abated, improved on the envelope, and that will be turned into a new allied health building. The reason we're doing this sequencing is because the science program can never go down for any period of time. So we need to renovate the arts building first to become the new science building and then shift everything over. So it will happen over the course of 2 years. Next slide. Those are the two buildings that we're looking at right there. For those of you that on campus, you're familiar with these buildings that we fondly refer to as the ESEF buildings. There are 5 of them on campus. These two right here, liberal arts and science, are the two that we are renovating. Next slide, please. Looking at the timeline here, we started this project back in October of 2022. There's been years worth of study. Right now, we're at that dark dot in the middle, which is the decommissioning study certification period. We will then proceed next month. We will proceed in design development. We will continue construction documents through the end of the year. And then next slide, please. You'll see there that sequencing that I mentioned before, construction phase 1, will liberal arts become science, construction phase 2, where the existing science building becomes a new allied health building. I'm going to go through these quickly as well. The biggest part of this study phase was to meet with the faculty and understand what their goals were going forward and come up with a significant program changes to what they currently have now to facilitate, once again, flexibility and their future kind of aspirations with regard to teaching. This is the science program. For those of you who are familiar with science buildings, they're relatively complex because each lab has an associated prep space, an associated research lab that goes along with it. Next slide, please. So we need to obviously be thinking about adjacencies, how all these lab building, programmatic components work together. Next slide. And we have settled on this floor plan, which you see here. We're building out a greenhouse, which you see on the bottom of the plan here to facilitate their biology and their science programs. Massasoit has this really great molecular cell research lab, which is relatively new and really rare for a community college. That's what you see in the lower right-hand side.
Sorry about that.
Of the floor. No, it's okay. Next, go ahead.
Okay.
The nursing health program, also a really interesting thing because this doesn't exist to the same extent on campus at all. This is really projecting in the future and how this program will double or maybe even triple in the next decade or so. As you know, there's a huge need for healthcare professionals in the college. So a lot of this is based on projections. The way that we manage that is a lot of the classrooms can be used also for general use, not just for allied health specific programs. So the college could come in and use the classroom spaces as well until those are needed by the allied health program. Next slide. Once again, adjacencies really key. Each of these skills labs have support spaces. Next. The components of this plan are really interesting. Basically, the entire center core that you see in those blue colors, that's the entire nursing suite, and it's treated as a kind of insular suite here, and it's treated much like a hospital environment. So your learning and training and facilities very much replicates what happens in the hospital. Then a lot of the rooms that you see on the perimeter, once again, can be used by the general college until they are needed in the future by these programs. Go right ahead. So we just completed the schematic design period as well. What we did a lot of that time is focus on the individual labs and the support spaces, look at them in greater detail. Go ahead. We also engaged the campus community quite a bit. You see a fearless leader there in the middle of the picture. Both the administration as well as the faculty and the students. We had a great deal of engagement to learn about what is needed to be built in the future. All kinds of boards where people were able to offer comments. We have an online survey as well. We've done this 2 or 3 times already. So we've been getting a lot of feedback from the community, which has been great. It's really kind of propelled the design forward. I think we can skip over this one. Thanks. And the results basically told us that having more communal spaces, more flexible spaces are really what key for the college moving forward. So they can be used in a variety of ways, and students really want to feel comfortable there, so they can come after hours and make the place their home, which is the goal of these 2 buildings for sure. We also have a universal design group that is composed of students and faculty and administration on campus as well. Looking at these really key goals for this project moving forward. If you've been to campus, you understand, for instance, number 1, wayfinding and signage. It's difficult for people who've never been there to find their way around campus because all the buildings look relatively similar. They're all the same vintage. We'll go on to the next slide. So we're looking at ways of actually color coding various elements of programs to help people navigate these buildings. We start with a color palette that's based on color blindness studies, start to associate those colors with specific programmatic elements, and assign, for instance, accent walls to lab spaces. So when one enters into a building, they'll immediately know, oh, I've seen yellow in the other buildings. I know that means lab. That's the direction we need to go to. And that translates to things like signage as well. Massasoit has a population that is non-English speaking. A large population of first generation going to college. So just incorporating other means of wayfinding around campus, graphic and visual wayfinding is really key to this. And that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
Any idea how many jobs you're going to create through the construction process?
Good question. I can tell you that when we did the project here on Main Street, that was about 150 jobs.
Yes.
Over the course of 2 years between all the various trades. I would think because of the duration of this spread out over 2 years, it would be somewhere in the same. Even though we're not doing any kind of exterior, structure or new envelope or anything. So there'll be less people on that side of things. The duration will probably make it the low hundreds, I would guess.
Thank you.
I know, we didn't have enough copies of the presentation, so, I just want to point out, if you signed in, you'll get a copy by email. Just want to put that out.
Bill, real quick, what's the status of the capital equipment? Do you have a draft list yet, or still working on it?
Still working. Yeah, we're going through and seeing, we're trying not to be penny wise and pound foolish, but we're also trying to control cost. And we've been very successful lately in getting grants, particularly for allied health. So we're taking inventory of what we can keep. We don't want to put bad stuff in the new building, but certainly some of it for highly technical equipment. So we're getting close.
Anybody else have any questions? But before we go to Don's presentation, I do want to acknowledge that we have some folks online, and apologies for not introducing you sooner. We have Pam McCarthy from Stoughton, Kathy Key, who is the Assistant Town Administrator of Whitman, Charlie Kilmer from OCPC, OCPC President Becky Coletta, and Stephanie Gamlinson, who is the planner in Easton. And I know we had at least 1 or 2 people. So if you came in late and you don't remember introducing yourself, do it again.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Greeny from Hanson, Assistant Town Administrator. We just had a fatality in town, so that's why I'm late. I'm still waiting.
That's a pretty heavy
Sorry for
excuse.
Flying out of fire police and as I was walking in my car.
Alicia says Lana Perry from Pembroke.
Nobody had.
Everybody died. I told everybody I was gonna be 15 minutes late, so. I was on time for me. It just.
Who's that?
Did you like?
Jeff? Yeah, I good.
Oh, yeah.
Just to call
Who are
you.
You can do it again.
Thanks, everyone. At this point, I'd like to hand it over to John to talk about some of the exciting projects that he is working on through the EPA.
Thanks, Paul. Real quick, and then I'll run through these pretty quick. If you want more information about me after the meeting. First up is East Bridgewater, Route 18 sewer construction. $10 million project, EDA funded $3 million. It's underway. We're getting ready to process some information, that project ready for discussion sometime in the summer. Regional water study, $1 million project, EDA funded $470,000. Underway, CDM Smith is a consultant. We had a kickoff meeting last week, it was pretty well attended, so that's moving forward as well. Brockton Fairgrounds, the redevelopment planning effort. Pending site acquisition will move forward with this project sometime in March. If city council approves the acquisition. A1, sewer extension design, $2 million project, $1 million ask out of EDA. That's proposed for a late May filing. Route 27 Crescent and Quincy Street intersection improvements, $8 million. EDA match would be $4 million. It's proposed, we don't know when, but the city's looking to move on that as well. Massasoit Community College capital equipment acquisition, we just talked about that. We're looking at a total project between 3 and 5 million. That'll be about 1.5 to 2.5 EDA match. That's proposed. Looks like 2025, late 24, 25 for that. We have a project that's just coming online now. It's a regional commercial industrial site survey study. That's going out the door this month, 75,000 for EDA. Additional projects, we have an EPA brownfields grant.
Let me run through
Yeah, real quick.
it. All right. Yeah. EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant, this has been an item on previous CEDS agendas. OCPC was able to secure $500,000 from the EPA for Brownfield Assessment Grant for potential sites along the Southeast Rail Corridor. It's a 4-year grant that will essentially facilitate brownfields redevelopment through different assessment activities at contaminated sites. So we issued an RFP back in December to secure a licensed site professional who will do the work, and we should be reaching a decision on that somewhat soon. Hanson Master Plan and East Bridgewater Master Plan. So OCPC has been engaged to develop master plans for both the town of Hanson and the town of East Bridgewater. This work is well underway with our master planning team, and myself and Don are piecing together the economic development elements of those plans. So we'll be continuing work on that through the spring.
So this is an initiative that was looked at when it was at Serpent a year or two back. So it's at a regional agricultural innovation center and food hub. So we have a expression of interest into the state through the MVP program, municipal vulnerability program, for an action grant to look at doing a feasibility study on where that might be located in the district. It's roughly a $300,000 project. We're piecing it together now. We'll have more information on that as we move forward. So that's it on the projects that we have currently in the hall. There's some projects emerging in Stoughton and in Plymouth relative to planning and construction of wastewater. So we'll get more on that as those projects to get more fully developed.
Well, I had an opportunity, on the steering committee for the regional water study, and for some communities in the OCPC, access to water and water is definitely a concern. Well, interesting to see how we come up with 29 regional strategies out of that group, but I mean, it's already initiated some more sub-regional conversations. Brockton has reached out to Bridgewater, Rainham, East Bridgewater, and then I think West Bridgewater to talk about. So if your community is participating in that study, we might want to get with those people just to learn a little bit more on and what's gonna happen over the next year.
Yeah, it'll be publicly vetted, so, it's gonna be a lot of discussion on what commonalities are, and it'll be publicly vetted documents. Or look forward to, getting that done as well.
All right, moving along. So as Nick said, the CIDS meets 4 times a year. You're 25% of the way there after today. Our next meeting will be on tentatively May 22nd. Our preference is to have those meetings earlier in the quarter in the month, but Nick is going to be on paternity leave, so we're pushing that back to May 22nd at noon here. The third meeting would be September 4th at noon here. And the last meeting of the year would be on December 4th, same time noon here. Again, beneficial if you can be here in person, not just for the free food, but just because it makes for a better conversation and dialogue, but food is appreciated.
And I think those dates should be a hold on your calendar. So what you'll probably see those, I'll get rid of the hold on those, but they should, I've sent those out, so they should already be on your calendar as tentative. We'll just adjust it, but those will be the dates going forward.
Good. So Nick is being incredibly efficient because he's very concerned that we don't go past 1 o'clock and we're, if not ahead of schedule, on schedule. So with that, we'll spend some time on member updates and I'll kick that off. If you're not familiar, Bridgewater has a fairly comprehensive economic revitalization initiative, Vision to Reality, that is ongoing. You Google Vision to Reality, it'll take you to the website, looking for stronger collaboration with BSU, particularly with their cybersecurity program, which is having a ribbon cutting on Friday. And we're addressing transportation, working with Michael at BAT, housing, economic development, small business, infrastructure. So we're in an exciting period right now. We're 2 meetings away from adopting new zoning that will allow for higher density in our downtown area, as well as adopting a form-based code, which will be an expedited approval process for new developments. We just had the Perkins Foundry project approved on Broad Street. It's 150 plus unit housing, 2 commercial buildings. If anybody's been in Bridgewater recently, you know where the old Friendlies is. That assemblage is now under a purchase and sale agreement with an exciting mixed-use project going there. So we've got quite a bit going on, looking at different infrastructure initiatives, both on water as well as wastewater. So with that, we'll go around the horn.
Sure, just a couple of things in the workforce side. We do have a couple of programs that are going down. We have a diesel tech certificate program in conjunction with Massachusetts that kicked off on the 16th of January. We have 12 folks enrolled in a program that's going to be a year-long program. They'll end up with a diesel tech certificate. We will also be enrolling for a second cohort of that will most likely kick off in January, just waiting on next year's schedule. So anybody that has someone that might be interested in a certificate of that, just reach out to me or go through Nick and you can get a call. I'll have you take a name. Well, my email's while you're on paternity.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
We also have an ongoing regional CNA program that we're actively taking recruits for. That training is being offered by both Quincy College in Lawrence area and a place called Healthcare U over at Center Street, no, Crescent Street, the mouth of Massasoit. So we're actively recruiting for that. We also have a CDL program that we've been running for 7 years now. We're still looking for participants. That's for Class A licenses and Class B licenses. That is a grant program that we received. We've been receiving it every couple of years since 2016. That training is offered by Parker Professional. That is the last thing. John, I'll let you talk a little bit about the work in the shelters that have popped up in both Stoughton and Brockton. So I'll stop talking there unless anybody has any questions.
For the manufacturing, very active.
Oh, yeah, so we're also in that
involved in a planning grant for manufacturing. The Center for Advanced Manufacturing has training goals that are out there. Bedford is the lead applicant, and we are just getting that off the ground now with AccuRounds, Northeastern Machine, who's the other one? On this?
Local here.
Yeah, so it's regional to us, but more on that.
You've had your chance. So CEDS, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, we're a not-for-profit funded state and federal for making small loans to businesses that have been declined by their bank. Sorry, Chuck. Or the bank, so say someone needs 100,000, they go to the bank, just says, well, you know what, I like that 50, we'll give you 50. He would refer them to CEDS for the additional financing. We have more flexible financing than banks, so we take a little bit more risk. And right now we are amply funded for loans from $1,000 to $5.5 million. And I'm actually writing 4 grants right now for new funding with another one on the way, so I feel a pain on the EDA and the CDFI and National Capital, so we have ample funding if anyone has any questions or wants to list us on their town website as, you know, development resource. I'd be happy to speak with you or give you the resources you can post. Yes, with all mass and all move out of it. Oh, except cannabis, adult entertainment, anything questionable as far as the FBA, so anything federally prohibited, we are not allowed.
John Murray with the Mass Higher Grade Broadband Career Center. As Jason mentioned, some of the training programs he's recruiting for. We do a lot of the recruiting with job seekers, adults, disadvantaged adults, dislocated workers, people laid off due to no fault of their own. So we're working on recruiting for that. He also mentioned we're pretty busy these days, working with the immigrants, recent arrivals to the country, primarily over in Stoughton. We have about 137 families, I think, over there. So we're currently involved, helping people get resumes together, start a job search process, that type of thing. There's obvious barriers to employment around transportation, English language, childcare, some pretty big hurdles that these people are facing. So we're trying to be as helpful as we can around that. And other than that, you know, we continue to work with businesses to see if they may be interested in hiring any of the new immigrants that have come in. One thing I should mention is, although they primarily Haitian, that many of them speak Spanish as well and Portuguese. So we are trying to look for employers that may have supervisors that speak other languages, that these people could be assimilated into the workforce. So, but that was one thing that was helpful for us to know, is many of them are multilingual.
What type of job skills are you seeing with that population?
So we're seeing a lot of in the construction trades, building trades, healthcare. Yesterday I was working with some people on healthcare as well as housekeeping, that type of thing. So people are very interested in working.
Those are fields that people are looking for work.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just making the match. Of course, we, you know, some warehousing as well. I think one thing, you know, that businesses are interested in is safety. So we do have to be careful that if somebody's on a manufacturing floor or something like that, they're gonna be able to be safe and keep others safe. So that's where the language is really crucial, but yeah, we just really started yesterday meeting people one-on-one, look at some resume prep and that type of thing.
What about work authorization? You authorized to work?
Yeah, so the people that we're working with are all authorized to work. Yeah.
We'll go back that way. Alicia?
I don't have anything to add right now.
Kristen, with the chamber, we had Secretary Augustus at Snow with a sold out crowd, and he focused on the 5-year goal, right? Representative, 5 years, 40,000 new housing units, 10 years, 200,000. And he went over, Secretary Augustus, he went over all of the various aspects of the plan, and they're hoping to get this approved this spring. $4.2 billion bond for tax incentives, business construction, major construction that would continue helping HDIP be funded, which has been the one program that Rockland has benefited more than any other community in Massachusetts. That's why a lot of housing you're seeing construction, under construction, they back funded all of that. So thank you, Representative. So that's great. We have a state of the city every Thursday with the mayor. We also have a study, a comprehensive study that was commissioned by Captain Charities, Mark Melnick, Dr. Mark Melnick from the National Group. He's going to release the findings of that, and some of the examples are, you know, how many homeless shelters do we need? How many food pantries do we need? How many are we using the resources effectively in the city? Needs that are here. Too many things, and leaving other things that you know on their own. So they're going to release those findings on Thursday. We're nearly sold out on that. And then on the 29th, we have our multicultural night. Business panel with 3 one who's going to be presenting their story. Several reviews, C Corporation funding. They wouldn't have been here to get this at one of Tufts and American University, I think. They just opened a medical office a year ago here in the city, and they're here to receive funding, and there's the opportunity, all demographics, there's opportunity here. So you can hear from them. There's a couple of expectations left. It's all free to attend, except that you know, 140 people on there. So if you want to attend now, let us know. And then finally, just not go too far, we have Secretary Dr. Bell coming on the 28th. She's coming to talk about the governor's new, their team, their new economic development plan for the next 3 years. So what their priorities are, how funded, what their concentration is going to be, and they'll probably talk a little bit about the 9C cuts, recent 9C cuts, the fall from state revenue, and that's going to have impact on economic development going forward. That event is at Concord Foods. For those who don't know Concord Foods, they have about 22 acres of land. They employ about 240 people. They make about 200 products. They've been here a long time. They are Chestnut. They're hosting us. They also have, for the very first time in that company's history, all female leadership team, CEO, CFO, the HR, all females. They employ again over 200 people, and about 80% of those are residents. So we're hosting the secretary there. That will sell out as well. It's limited to 110 people, so if you're interested.
Oh, good afternoon. We only got bad news right now, coming from City Council. This week, we just learned that our public safety building is about $35 million over budget. So that's a hole we're gonna have to plug. We recently learned about an $18.5 million budget deficit with our school system. So that's another hole we have to plug. I heard that there's some threats again in the fairgrounds. That's an issue that we'll have to address shortly. But the development downtown is much welcome. I know 93 Center Street, which is the old furniture building, has just come online. It's being occupied right now. 28 Petronelli Way is online. It's about 80% occupied right now. So things are still happening downtown. We're working on our homeless issue downtown, trying to find some resources and policy to address homeless issues downtown. I know working with state rep, we're hoping to see some movement on the Crystal block. on the east side of Brockton. Hopefully, get that, on the books for development. So, that should be coming down the pipeline soon. But we're just, we're plugging along. We're trying to address the issues that we face in the urban community. With all of your help, I believe we'll, we'll turn the corner, and, our downtown market is a great place to do business. And, we're gonna try to make it safe and, hospitable, both to our residences and our businesses. And, I just appreciate all the support. I've worked with, many of you, in the past, looking forward to working with all of you in the future. Brockton is a great place to live and conduct your business, and, we welcome all of you. And if you ever need anything, I represent the downtown district. My door is always open. I'm always willing to sit down and discuss ideas and try to help, guide anything through our planning board, our zoning board, through the city council, whatever you need. I'm here to support you all, and, just thank you for being here today. Thank you, Nick, for putting this together. And, again, I just look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
So, I'm not gonna be able to go over everything that the city is working on, obviously, with the municipality, but I can bring you abreast on some of the key situations and issues that we're working on, and also the goals that we are looking at. As Councilor Thompson mentioned, the homeless issue is one specifically that myself and Director Jasmine Bradshaw, who's social services, is working on the policy, which did go to the council. It's going to ordinance, through ordinance. Hopefully, we can adapt it relatively soon in a timely manner and be able to get some a key piece in place so that we can take advantage of cleaning up more of downtown in a lot more placement. We're working on housing to be able to work on people that do want their situation better, and we'll take programs and we'll take housing. We're working on creating that program to put the individuals in there and move them along a path of sobriety and success. It doesn't come overnight, but the plans are in place to be able to send it through the council and be able to hopefully have it done in a timely manner. Some of the goals we have, as most of you do know, is ARPA money. ARPA funds are funding not only City Hall, which is under renovations now. We're going to be moving departments from one floor to outside of City Hall, and moving down through the building and relocating different departments. But the roof on through the air system will be created. A new roof or maintaining that existing roof, but a new flow of air for City Hall that we've never had. As Nick, you've been in there working in the mayor's office before. It is so stagnant, the air in some of the rooms. Some of them are cold, some of them are hot. It's going to give us that breath of fresh air. That's one project with ARPA, along with the Cosgrove Pool is another one that's under construction. Many of the parks and playgrounds are going to be done across the city. The War Memorial's already underway, and now they're entering the phase of the punch list, which hopefully that will be done at the end of the spring, which the War Memorial has a whole new facelift, air conditioning. The roof is going to be refurbished so that doesn't have to leak anymore into the second floor of that auditorium. And then also the Council on Aging, everyone's familiar with the COA. They moved to the Shaw Center, adjacent to the high school behind the R&B. They're expanding the COA and renovating the whole building there, where it's gonna have I believe it's a 3,000 to 5,000 square foot existing open room that is gonna have a multi-use center in there. And there is other things with ARPA, but that's key to the next few years for the municipality. Some of the key issues that we're working on through the equity task force, and I'll keep it real brief, and the wellness trust team, is still food security, still delivering to families in the houses, still sending for care in the communities. To be able to work on those key issues, we're using our collaboration and our partnership with places in associations like the Cape Verdean Association, Latino Women's Association, and which is really big right now, John touched on this, is the Haitian individuals, which is predominantly who's coming in. There are Spanish, Ecuadorian, Guatemalan coming to Brockton as well, but the Haitian immigrants that are coming, they're coming in daily to the mayor's office. We'll fast track them over to Haitian Community Partnership. They are part of our equity task force. We've worked with them through the census and through through the census and through COVID. We are trying to build any existing branches with them so that they can do work programs. And we're gonna try to line them up with key transportation. So that's just some of them. Anyone has any questions at all, please reach out to me at the mayor's office and I will set up a meeting with you and go into further detail. Thank you. I hope that
That's great. No,
So I don't want to shortchange anyone, but I think we have about 11 people who haven't spoken yet. We got about 11 minutes left. Time. You can do the math, figure it out for yourself.
I think we have some folks online too, so we try to keep some time for
I'll
them.
be real
to
quick,
weigh in.
and I'm Stephanie from Bridgewater State University. I'm a new committee member, so thank you for having me. I've been at the university for about a little over 18 years, full-time in different capacities within the operations division. So I look forward, I'm excited to hear about everything happening in the region, being a better partner in the region, especially collaboration with the revitalization of downtown.
and on Friday, there's gonna be the,
Yeah,
cyber-
10 a.m. is, in the science building, it's like a range opening, which is very impressive project. Thanks. Hey, everybody, I'm Laura Buckley from the Gulf Shore Workforce Board. Real quick, we are focusing on priority sectors for the Gulf Shore, starting with healthcare, manufacturing, with the same priority sectors here, the Boston one side. Professional services remains the top of our list as well. And we like those particular occupations because they pay a sustainable living wage that would allow people to stay here in southeastern Massachusetts, where the cost of living is exponentially higher than the apartment complex. We can't fix the cost of living. We can help people get resources and skills to make sure that they can earn the income that they can stay here. So we are diligently looking for training opportunities and interested parties. But I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to thank my counterparts statewide for care centers that have been tasked with helping those who come to our country. We didn't necessarily have a great plan when they got here, but things have unfolded in a way that allows them a path forward. So thank you, John, and his team, and every other career center across the Commonwealth that's doing the hard work of getting people where they need to be. Quick question, in 10 seconds, are you planning to increase enrollment at Massasoit?
Yes.
Facilities to what capacity? Because John and I are always looking for programs.
Yeah, so we are about at 120 nursing, we use nursing.
Right now,
because that's-
right?
Yeah, and we're looking to bump that up considerably, maybe to 150, 160. We have waiting lists.
Yeah.
To get in, but because of our facility, we just can't bring them in. There are very strict accreditation guidelines faculty to student ratios, so we just don't have the space right.
What about for rad tech? Will you be increasing capacity?
Probably not for rad tech, pretty well established program now. So, and probably not for respiratory as well, but nursing is the one with the big wait lists and capacity issues. And you can see when he put it up there, that whole center of the building was nursing.
Right.
Thanks for asking.
McGloin from Brockton Area Transit. We consider providing foundation for the region's economic development activities to be a key priority for us. Work closely with our 11 member communities, as well as Chamber, CPC, in the city to make sure that our services are targeted the right way. That has paid off very well historically. We were providing 3 million trips a year pre-pandemic, which is really good for the size and density of the region. Thanks to the legislature, we've been able to invest in our services recently. We just doubled our frequencies on Saturdays, provided Sunday morning services for the first time in history, and are focused on providing services for second and third shift workers now. And that is paying off. Oh, and also free service. That's paying off. We just last month, we exceeded our pre-pandemic numbers for the first time. So we're well on our way to really reestablishing transit service across the area. And we're happy to work with any of you to meet any of the transportation needs.
Once again, I'm from the Brockton Development Authority, and we're working on some events for February that might be interesting to the people in the room. We're holding a mixer for businesses and nonprofits on, the 16th, and, the theme of the mixer will be what they can learn from each other. It'll probably be like maybe, between 3 and 5, and, just an opportunity for people to unwind and talk. Discuss some positive things that are unfolding and find solutions to some of the maybe negative things, but just to relax and not really be too focused on anything too serious. It's just connecting. So a networking event is how I see it. And then we also have been approached by the state's Office of Economic Empowerment, and we're hoping to hold, to have them host a workshop here for, again, residents and the business community to teach them about the resources that they have and connect them to them. We also have had the Umuganda Challenge that's been going on. Lately, it served as a platform for conversation about homelessness in the community. But we're hoping to also introduce a community cohesion project component so that the participants begin to work together towards a goal as opposed to just having conversations about the issue. We also are entering our planning phase for the next fiscal year. So we're in the process of preparing our action plan for HUD. And so we should be releasing our RFPs and all that information so that people and entities interested in applying for CDBG and home funds can have a chance to do so. Thank you.
Real quick, is that you have me in the room, my name is Jonathan, I'm with the Cape Cod Cafe, maybe one of the only business owners on this panel, so I'm hoping I could give her maybe a different perspective going forward from their perspectives.
And also the great pizza.
John, can you talk about what you've acquired Italian kitchen, and you have a frozen operation too?
Yeah, so you acquired the Italian kitchen about 1.5 years ago. That's right down the street from our Cape Cod Cafe location. And between that factory and the Cape Cod Cafe, we employ about 150 people. We have housing in the area too. I objected this year is to expand on the factory, build a building next door to our factory, and double the size of the manufacturing.
And you have, you're across our region now, right? So you have.
We have locations in animal factoring in Bridgewater, some many in your towns. We sell frozen pizzas and probably other things. So I have interest in everybody still.
On the North Shore, they're up there.
Senator Brady's office, I think one of the most, one of the most important concerns we're getting right now is student healthcare. I think, we've been keeping in contact with the Department of Public Health and Services, and we're continuing to just monitor the situation. DPH has told us that we had student vendors doing facilities as of January 31st. They're keeping track of quality of care, capacity, and taking consideration and contingency planning. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to see me at the meeting or in the contact information and phone me.
Charlie.
We're gonna skip over this.
Don and Nick already covered, so pass.
Jeff?
Jeff Chernell again, Northeastern Savings Bank. We've had the ability of financing some of the market rate housing in downtown. I believe we put 2 projects online. We have about 3 in the pipeline. Again, these are all private investors that are using HDIP, like Chris mentioned from the legislator. I mean, this is bringing not affordable housing, but people in the downtown that want to live, that want to spend money, that and travel to other communities. And it's been remarkable what we've been able to do with some of these apartments. I mean, if you go into them, Joffrey's apartments are like luxury apartments in the city of Boston. So again, if any of you guys want any information, have any clients or any due diligence through the bank, we're welcome. We work with the Redevelopment Authority and many people in the room.
Thank you, Jeff. Plus, also you lead the Greater Brockton Young Professionals Group.
I'm an honorary member now, but yeah, I was one of the starters of the Greater Brockton.
Representing.
Oh, I'm just so happy that so many of the projects that I've been working on for decades have come to fruition, including the $38 million we were able to deliver to Massasoit. I was on the city council when we accepted the 40R, which allowed Trinity to be built, and all the units that Councilor Thompson mentioned. There's just, from my perspective, I'm so happy that Crescent and Quincy is still on the list on this agenda here, because, you know, that's just so exciting, and excited to see how the CSX rail yard transpires and what we can do to get more housing down there. I know that the Brockton Redevelopment Authority is working on that, right? And yeah, and it's
So
so,
just today, we posted on the Facebook page and on our LinkedIn, the Q&A that the CEO and founder of Charter, our chosen partner, participated in, and he talks a little bit more about the project and their plans. So if anyone is interested in learning about this project that Mr. Dubois is talking about, we just posted about that today.
we need housing. And so I'm just so excited to be a partner with any of you that want to build. Let's go big is what I'm saying, in appropriate locations, you know? And so I'm looking forward to that. I'd love to be a state rep, and I'm just seeing so many positive things from the East Bridgewater sewer. I was a real fighter for this H-step increase. We increased it to $50 million a year with a $30 million infusion of funds just for this year's expenses. So there's just a lot of wonderful things happening, and I'm just excited to be part of it. So thank you so much, Mary. Appreciate it.
And Lisa Green, and then we'll go to those online.
Hanson is very quiet, although, we have received the Brownfields grant for 2 properties in Hanson that we have. One is our light control building, that was donated to the town, quite a few years ago, and another is for an old gas station that we have in town. So we're really excited about, especially the light control. It's a large parcel of property that was donated to the town. Unfortunately, because there is pollution in there, the deed has a lot of restrictions of what the town cannot do with it, which is housing, medical facilities, school, anything where anybody has to actually go down, pretty much prohibited under the deed. So this Brownfields grant is going to allow us to really dig in to see what actually is in there. And then once we do have that information, we will hopefully be able to apply for another grant to help us clean it up, and then go to court to get those prohibitions removed from the deed, so that we can do something with that property. Because right now, it's just an abandoned 9-point-something acre property, right next to the barn, that's sitting there rotting away. And that's all I have for Hanson.
So we lost 2 of those online, but Charlie and Becky.
Charlie or Becky, anything you want to add?
Hey, this is Becky. I would just add that I'm very excited to see CEDS sort of getting reinvigorated. And that's something that I'm very happy to see Nick leading the effort, and all the work that Don Sullivan and the group there at OCPC have been doing. So thank you, guys.
I would echo President Coletta's comments as well. We're very excited at the staff level to see an energized CEDS committee, and we're really excited to see the work of Bob Rulli as chair of this committee, and really extend a sincere thank you to the committee members and interested parties in the room, and Representative Dubois for all the legislative muscle and contributions over the years. And it's a real example of folks coming together for the betterment of the region. So, you know, we extend a sincere thank you to everyone.
Hey, Charlie. I don't believe there's any other business, right? Now I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion in a second.
I can't imagine there's any application. But again, you're more than welcome to linger. And we look forward to seeing you again tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on the website, and have the newsletter to see all the other things.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Oh, okay.